Hi guys, here are a couple of videos for you. We are looking at factoring, which is section P5 in our book. And I thought I had some videos made, but I checked YouTube and nope. Nope. So today I'm going to make 3 different videos. We're going to start with a GCF. Oh, maybe. There we go. We're going to do a GCF. And then we are definitely going to do grouping. And I believe we'll do difference of squares. And, oh, I guess maybe I have to do trinomials as well. Some are difference of cubes we'll wait for, so maybe I'll make 4 videos for you. And I have very limited time, so I'm going to get right into it. We're going to talk about GCF, and a lot of the times you guys think about GCF, you think of it as, oh, I'm dividing something out, but you're not. You are factoring something out. So when you're doing GCF, we've got a binomial sitting right here. This is our binomial right here. It has 2 terms, hence binomial, and it's got a 3x squared and a 9x. Whoops, wrong one. I'm out of practice. You got to give me a little time. I haven't done this in a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the numbers first. Between the 3 and the 9, I need the greatest number that goes into both of those. The greatest number that goes into both of those is a 3. Then I look at my variables. I got an x squared and an x. So when I'm doing this, what I take is I actually take the variable that has the smallest exponent. So I have x squared and I have x to the first. So when I factor out, I'm going to have x to the first outside. Then, of course, we have our set of parentheses, and then we have to figure out what we need. We'll go with green. So basically what you're doing, and it depends on how you look at it. You can look at it in terms of, let me erase that. You can look at it in terms of, and see, here's the problem. I say dividing, but again, you're not necessarily dividing. But I also like to look at it as 3x times what is going to give me 3x squared. Well, 3 times a 1 will give me my 3, and an x times an x gives me my x squared. I write in my sign, it's subtraction, and then I ask myself the same thing. We'll go orange this time. 3x times what is going to give me 9x? Well, 3 times 3 gives me a 9, and x times a 1. So technically I would write a 1 there, but you don't have to because it doesn't really matter. It's 3 times a 1. Okay. So that's how we do it. The other way, again, when I said dividing, I meant simply if you go 3x squared divided by the 3x, it gives you the 1x. I hope that yellow is showing up. And since we factored out, all we have to do now is make it look pretty. And you do not have to write the 1 here if you don't want to, but you can. Okay, then let's take a look at the next one. I have a negative x squared plus 5x. Well, first and foremost, I'm looking at my numbers, and I have a negative 1 and a 5. Nothing as far as numbers is going to come out, but I can actually factor out a negative 1. So I can take that negative out of there, because normally what we like to have inside our parentheses, this first term here, we like to have it positive. So then I look at my x's. I got x squared, and I have an x. So again, just like the first one, I'm going to factor out just an x, and I repeat the process. Negative 1x times what will give me a negative 1x squared? Well, that's just going to be an x. Here's where you have to watch your sign. Now, you can rewrite the plus that's there, so I have a positive, and then you can ask yourself, negative 1x times what will give me a 5x? So then you can say, oh, well, negative 1 times negative 1x times a 5 will give me a 5x, except this has to be positive up here. So when I do this, I do a negative times a negative makes a positive. Now, that's the long way to go around. You could have, if you wanted to, this sign right here. Oh, I guess I should pick a different color. That sign right there. Let's go orange again. You could have just written a minus, and then it would have just been a 5 there. But when I rewrite, make it pretty, I get a negative 1x times x plus a negative 5 is the same as minus a 5. So that's how we're factoring those two. And those are both binomials. Let's take a look at a trinomial real quick. Okay. It's the same process. Even though there's 3 terms, we're still doing the same thing. We're worried about numbers first. So I have a 6, a 2, and a 6. The biggest number that goes into all 3 of those, 2. Okay. Then I'm going to worry about my x's. I have an x squared a plain old x, and an x cubed. Remember, when you're doing this, you are taking the smallest exponent. So this is an x to the first coming out. And you don't have to write to the first power, but I like to write it so you see that's what's happening. Then I have a y squared, and a plain old y. That means my plain old y has to come out. Remember, the smallest exponent. I'm going to have a big set of parentheses just because I want to make sure that I have that. And then it's the same process. 2x to the first, y to the first, times what? Right? So 2xy times what is going to give me that right there, the 6x squared y squared. Well, 2 times 3 gives me 6. X times x gives me x squared. Y times y gives me y squared. I'm writing my minus sign right there, and I'm repeating the process. I am repeating the process. We'll go orange. 2xy times what is going to give me 2xy squared. Now here's the thing. I already wrote the minus, so I don't have to worry about positive or negative or anything like that. That's where you guys tend to trip up the most, is your signs and everything like that. And it's tough, and I know, but we got to practice, so just jump right in. So 2 times 1 will give me a 2. X times 1 will give me an x. And y times y will give me a y squared. So that's how I'm getting that middle term up there. I'm going to add, and then I need to know, oh, you know what, gray. Let's go gray. I need to know 2xy times what is going to give me this right here. Sorry. Sorry about that. That was not a dramatic pause. I was just staring at all of the colors on my paper and thinking, wow, that's nice. So 2 times a 3, x times x squared will give me x cubed, and that's just a 1, because y times 1 gives me a y. So now I made those too big, all of these, so I can't make it pretty. Or I can't, actually have space to write. So when I rewrite this, I will have a 2xy times 3xy. So 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared, y times y is y squared, we're good, minus a 2x, we're just a y there, 1 times 1 is y, and we just double check and make sure, and then we should have a 3x squared right there, okay? And I'm just double checking, making sure. So that is factoring by GCF. I'm going to go make difference of two squares or trinomials next. I can't remember. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Grouping.